tricks in this job is to make the new addition look like it's always been there. It is a trick, but it can be done. Take a look at a house that we saw recently in a town not far from here. Ah, what a lovely building. It would be remarkable enough if it had always stood on this wonderful site, but it hasn't. It was built in 1750 as a tavern in Northfield, Massachusetts, a town about 2 hours' drive from here. And then it fell into disrepair. About 2.5 years ago, it was dismantled stick by stick, moved here, and re-erected. It has been a labor of love on the part of the homeowner and the contractor, Brian Cooper. Let's go meet him and get the tour. This is a story about getting all the details right, from the layout of the front walk to the layout of the gardens and even the selection of plant material. Everything's been meticulously researched. Anna, thank you for letting us see your house.
Hello, Steve. Welcome.
Thank you very much. And Brian.
Thank you, Steve.
Quite an achievement.
Thank you.
We want the whole tour, of course.
Okay.
But start us right here at this front entryway.
Well, this is not the original front door. We designed this door from one that exists in Deerfield Village, which is in Massachusetts, an 18th century village. This house, being from Northfield, Mass., would have a lot in common with the doorways and the houses in Deerfield. So we decided to take some of the design from our original doorway and combine it with the Deerfield doorway, and we embellished it with a pineapple, a symbol of 18th century hospitality.
It is wonderful. Now, Brian, I've got a house quite similar to this, not in quite as good shape. In fact, I think I'll burn it when I go home. I know these claps must be new, but they look old. How'd you do that?
These are new clappers. They're a quarter-sawn spruce, and we've hand-planed them all to give it that texture similar to what you'd see in an 18th century house. And we were fortunate enough to salvage the nails from the tavern. We took the nails and annealed them, a process of heating them up to a red-hot state and then letting them slowly cool. And with that process, you can then straighten the nail out without it breaking. So we were able to use about 12,000 of the original fasteners from the tavern.
12,000?
12,000, yeah.
And all the joints are scarfed?
They're all scarfed, yeah. That was a process that allowed one nail to hold two clapboards.
How about the windowsills? This profile is a bit unusual.
Well, it is. We found a shard in one of the walls that was just a small piece of one of the original sills, and that gave us enough information to duplicate the sill you see in front of you.
Wow, so a lot of research went into this.
A lot of research and a lot of investigation as you dismantle a structure.
Absolutely.
Cornerboard detail?
Well, that's a beaded corner board, and one of the boards receives the bead and has a rabbet joint on it so that the two can bond together, and then it's nailed off with reproduction nails.
And how about the foundation? This is something that we don't see here, a type of stone we don't see here. Usually it's granite.
That's correct, Steve. These were taken from the actual foundation in Northfield, and these stones are indigenous to that area. They are smaller and more compact, and we took them here, snapped them in half, and made the veneer for the new foundation.
Boy, a lot of work. It's hard to conceive of the task, Brian, of taking the whole thing apart stick by stick, moving it here, and putting it back together.
It's basically a big jigsaw puzzle. You number all the pieces, and then you start reassembling them once you get here.
Did you lose any?
We didn't lose any pieces. We had to replicate a few that were rotten from years of water and abuse.
This must be the original front door. You can't fool me, Anna.
That's correct, Steve. This is the original front door, and we salvaged as many parts as we could, but we did have to add some pieces where the wood had rotted out, such as the base plinth here.
Now, how about the stones?
These are the original front door steps.
All those thirsty travelers.
That's right.
Headed into the tavern.
Along the north side of the L, Steve, is an example of what happens when you marry modern construction with the 18th century construction. We made this bump out a library so that I could have a larger room for entertaining.
So this is new?
Yes, it is.
I wouldn't have been able to tell that unless you'd told me, and yet I'm a little surprised at the Palladian window.
Well, because this is a section that was added onto the tavern around 1800, the idea of using a Palladian window, which is more federal, is pretty much justified.
And the fluting?
And we took this from the original front door.
Ah, I see. Well, the seamless nature with which everything flows together is very impressive, Brian.
Oh, thanks. That was the desired effect. This portion of the building right here, this is original. This is the L off the main house. And this large roof section that you see back here, this was a carriage shed that we also dismantled and moved to the site. It dated about 1790. And we get over to the gambrel here. This is brand new. This was just built recently, and it's using 2x6s and modern construction. Same windows, same approach to the clapboards.
Well, you should be proud of the job you've done.
Thank you.
Here's our scrapbook, Steve. Let me show you a picture of what the place looked like before we took it down.
That was it?
That was it.
What did your parents think when you showed them pictures of this?
Well, I think they thought we were a bit crazy. But we didn't expect anyone to understand, not at this stage.
Onward.
Okay. Along the south side of the house here, we have the front of the carriage shed with 3 bays for 3 cars.
I love the granite ramps.
Yep, those are carriage ramp stones. And we'll probably infill here and also use cobbles around the steps.
And the look of the doors, I love that, with the antique hardware. And they open automatically?
Yep, we're using this area right now as a workshop while we're continuing to work in the house.
What about the material?
That sheathing came from the original house, and we used it on the doors.
And you intend to paint this?
We'll leave it natural and just seal it up.
Boy, looks great. Same treatment here, huh?
Yeah, I think it breaks up the monotony and the length of the carriage shed and all the clapboards.
And this stonework, Brian, looks like it's always been here.
Well, this stone has a unique story to it. We had already built the house. I got a phone call one day. A fella said he had a stone for sale. He gave me the dimensions. I measured it up, and it fit. It slid right in. No work was required other than just rolling it in. One in a million opportunity here.
And this step was here as well?
It came as a set.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it either.
So now, can we please go in? I'm
Certainly
dying
can.
to see the inside.
Now, in the interest of practicality, we incorporated a mudroom into the design.
Well, it's a necessity here in New England.
It is for those days when people trudge in with snowy boots and dirty shoes. We incorporated some of the old feather edge boards in here on the sheathing and put down a brick floor.
Good choice.
We also installed radiant heat underneath the brick.
Oh, yeah? Did Three get a hold of you?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with Richard, and we were able to employ radiant heat throughout the entire house.
How does it work for you?
Fabulous.
Yeah. I've got it in my house. I love it.
I love it myself.
Onward, please.
Come on in here. This is the kitchen. And the trick with this was once again blending the 18th century with the 20th century. So in this case, we paneled the refrigerator, and we used black on the appliances to understate them.
Yeah, they disappear in the woodwork.
And we used some natural materials for the countertop surfaces, be it either granite or wood. Do you recognize this?
Well, I was looking at it. Is this the last known remaining supply of tiger maple?
Not quite, but it is tiger.
How did you finish it?
We put many coats of varnish on it.
And does it hold up?
It should, we hope so.
Well, it's gorgeous. And this is gorgeous as well. The revealed bits of the timber frame. Oak?
A combination of oak and chestnut.
Wonderful. Wow. And it looks like these cabinets are new. I know they're new, but it looks like they've been here all along.
Yeah, a company in Maine built these for us. I believe they'd done other kitchens for this old house, and I think they're doing the one for your current project.
Well, great. We're in good hands.
They did a great job.
How about the uppers?
Well, the uppers I designed from an 18th century cupboard, so they wouldn't look like 20th century uppers. And we utilized old glass in the top here.
Yeah.
And we had the hinges hand forged, and these are rat tail hinges.
Rat tail?
That's right. This is supposed to look like a rat tail.
Huh. Now, how does the kitchen function as a kitchen?
Beautifully. It's got all the conveniences of the 20th century, but it looks a bit like an 18th century kitchen, if they existed.
Yes. Now, this space here is a perfect companion to that modern kitchen.
Yeah, this is the normal eating area, and we opened up this section to make it lighter and airier so that you wouldn't feel as confined as you may in the other sections of the
filled
house.
with light.
We didn't really want to use a skylight. Skylight didn't work, so we designed this dormer, which allows northern light to come in and gives the room a nice airy sense.
Wow, this is a great space.
Well, you'll have to see the formal dining parlor now. This is the Queen Anne parlor, and this would date to the time period the house was actually built in.
So is this paneling new?
Oh no, this is all original paneling, and this medallion here is very specific to the Connecticut River Valley and to the Deerfield area.
So all of this paneling was in that ratty old house?
This entire room was completely intact. Henry Ford tried to purchase this room for his museum in Greenfield. He was a collector of early Americana, and he came and approached the Yankee farmer that was living here and said, well, if I give you a Model T, will you give me this room and the cupboard?
Yeah.
And the guy, being just pragmatic, said, no, the Model T will just break down. He would have given the room away in a heartbeat, but he was a practical Yankee.
Is that right?
So the room stayed intact,
And this cupboard stayed intact all that time the
Absolutely.
building was abandoned?
Even the old glass, and you can see all the waves and irregularities in it.
Extraordinary. And what's it like to live in a house like this, Anna?
Well, you certainly respect all that's gone before you.
Oh, I bet. Gives you a sense of mortality, too.
It certainly does.
And look at the width of these boards.
Steve, it took us a while to find these boards. We had to find vintage material. The original floors were long gone, worn out.
Wow, look at this. 8, 16, 24.
Yeah, these came out of a house in Maine that was going to be demolished, and we were lucky enough to salvage them and reuse them here.
We've got Dutchman in here, and an unusual finish. What is this?
This, again, is a varnish finish. We use natural earth pigments to blend the tones, and several coats of varnish, and then we hand rub them out with a non-toxic wax.
Looks great. And how about the fireplace?
Well, it's a beautiful, large fireplace. We were, again, fortunate. These hearthstones were under several layers of flooring, and once we pulled the flooring back and measured these hearthstones, we were able to determine what the size of the original firebox might have been. This chimney had been demolished in the 20s sometime.
And how about the lintel? Is that original?
Well, it's not original, but it is an 18th century timber. We took it and carved this oval molding on here with a lamb's tongue termination. This is typical of what might have been in a fireplace at that time.
Well, just thinking about all the work and all the research that you put into this place works up a powerful thirst in a man.
Well, come this way and enter this room then, Steve. This is the old bar.
The tavern itself.
That's right.
Yeah, you can just smell the smoke from the clay pipes, and you can hear the clink of mugs. What did they drink back then?
Oh, hard cider.
Hard cider? and plenty of it.
Absolutely.
Well, show us around. No plaster, all paneling.
Well, this is something specific to that area of Massachusetts. They would paint the girt casing in the summer beam, but they would leave the ceiling exposed.
It's a good look. And the bar. Sir.
Every tavern has to have a bar.
Yeah.
We found evidence that there was a wicket, as they called it in those days.
A wicket?
A wicket. It was called a wicket. Had a large grate that came down here that would enable the innkeeper to lock up his liquor at night and on Sundays. And we duplicated this from dimensions that we found in the ceiling.
And so comes the term bar and grill, because you'd have your bar here and your grill on the upper section of it.
So grill is not where you cook the burgers.
No, that's 20th century.
Now, you mentioned a library.
Yep, come this way.
Boy, what a change of pace. Gone are the earth tones and lots of pale yellow.
Well, the time period of this room is around 1800, and that's the federal period when they would have used lighter and brighter colors.
So it is right in keeping.
It is, yes.
How about this shellback cupboard?
This is a reproduction we had made from a piece in Deerfield.
It's extraordinary. And how about the rest of the paneling?
Well, this piece up here, this fireplace breast, is original to the room, and so are the two doors.
So is the strategy to find an original piece and then use it to reproduce the rest of the woodwork in the
Exactly,
room?
Steve. That's one of the main techniques we use in blending old and new to make old wood and new meet is to hand plane it all.
So everything's been hand planed?
Every single stick of wood in this house gets hand planed before it gets installed. That way it's impossible to tell old from new.
Incredible. Now this is the old part. This is the new part, correct?
This is the new part. We saw this from the outside. This is all modern construction. 2x6 walls were employed, and plaster on lath, and again the hand planing, which you can see in all the paneling and all the trim around.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. Yeah.
Well, you've showed us where we eat, where we drink, and where we relax in a tavern. Where do we sleep?
The bedchambers, come this way.
I know you have air conditioning, central vacuuming, fire protection, security, and other systems, and yet you don't see any of them.
We went to great pains to hide everything so that you'd really feel like you were back in the 18th century. We're entering the tavern chamber here, which is the bedroom where the men would come up and sleep for the evening.
But they didn't sleep on this furniture.
No, they didn't. We wanted to represent every period of the 18th century, and this would be the earliest period, the William and Mary period.
I love this room. It's got a real warmth to it. The floor's even got a little dip to it as I walk in, and some spring to it.
A little dip, a little bounce. We went to great pains to keep the original curves and swales in the floor. And the reason the floor has a little bounce to it is because this is a single thickness floor, and actually the bottoms of these boards represents the ceiling in the tavern below.
So if it's single thickness, where did you put the radiant heat?
That's a good question. In this room, we had to hide the radiant heat in the outside walls. And we kept the radiant tubing down low enough so that if you hang a picture or drive a nail in the wall, you're not going to puncture your tubing.
Another Truthui trick, huh?
Yep, exactly.
Lead on, please.
Right in here, we have an original stenciled wall from the tavern.
The whole wall, you took it out, you reinstalled it here?
Took it out in one piece. We we consolidated the back of the plaster wall using a hide glue.
Hide?
Hide glue, yeah. It's a glue that's kept hot and applied. And what it does is, as it shrinks, it helps re-adhere the broken plaster keys to the lath.
How much did the panel weigh?
This one probably weighed out about 800 pounds. They were very heavy.
Wow. Onward, please.
That leads me to another issue too, Steve. All of the plaster in the house is plaster put on wooden lath. We saved all the lath from the original house, and we had a fellow replaster over with basically horsehair plaster to give you the texture that they would have had in the 18th century.
Well, it sure fools the eye, I can tell you that. Looks like it's always been here. How about the floor in here?
This is an original stencil floor with a diamond pattern and a tulip border running around the periphery.
Now, was this original?
It was original.
And did it look like this when you
It
pulled it out of the
didn't.
house?
It was virtually black, so we very carefully cleaned it and then in-painted the missing areas.
It is gorgeous.
Well, it's weathered 200 years.
Well, look, you're still a young man. You might not feel young after this project, but what's next?
Actually, we're going to be assembling a 1790s Dutch barn that we dismantled last year on this same site.
So, the village grows, Anna?
It goes on.
Yeah, well, thanks for showing us the house.
Oh,
It
well,
is.
thanks for coming over.
Hey, what is this? I go off on a difficult field trip, working my fingers to the bone. Come back to very little progress, and you guys are washing the floor.
Steve, didn't you notice that it rained about an inch in the last hour?
Yeah, it was a real downpour. But we needed the rain, didn't we, Norm?
We sure did.
Got the main girder in.
We've got the main girder in, built up of laminated lumber, and that's going to cut the span down from the front wall to the back wall and make the floor real stiff with the system of these floor joists.